Hi, dear children. Welcome to our biology class. I hope all of you studied the previous topics that I taught you. Today, we are going to recollect all the points from the chapter Diversity for Sustenance. Let's start our class. First, we mainly studied about consumers. The consumers are the organisms that depend on plants directly or indirectly for food. The consumers are mainly three types: primary consumers, secondary consumers, and tertiary consumers. The next we studied about trophic levels. Trophic level is the position of an organism in the food chain. Food chain starts with plants, so they represent the first trophic level. Herbivorous included in second trophic level. The carnivorous represent the third trophic level, and the predators represent the fourth trophic level. The number of trophic levels and the position of organism in the trophic levels of the ecosystem is not constant. Next, we studied about the ecological interactions. We studied about 5 types of ecological interactions. They are predation, parasitism, competition, mutualism, and commensalism. First, about predation. In predation, it is beneficial to one but harmful to the other. Here, prey becomes the food of the predator. Example, tiger and deer. Second one is parasitism. In parasitism, it is beneficial to one and harmful to the other. The parasite depends on the host for nutrition. Example, mango tree and loranthus. The third one is competition. In the competition, it is harmful to both in the beginning. Then it beneficial to the one who wins. Example, paddy and weeds. The next one is mutualism. In mutualism, it is beneficial to both the organisms. Example, flower and butterfly. The last one is commensalism. In commensalism, it is beneficial to one and is neither beneficial nor harmful to the other. Example, mango tree and vanda. Next, we discussed about biodiversity. In biodiversity, it includes all the diverse organisms that inhabit the earth along with their ecosystems. Biodiversity includes various levels like ecosystem diversity, species diversity, and genetic diversity. The term biodiversity was first used by Walter G. Rosen in 1984. The biodiversity provides many services. The first one, availability of essential materials like food, medicine, fuels, construction materials, etc. Then second, ecological services like soil formation, prevention of soil erosion, oxygen and carbon dioxide balance, availability of fresh water, control of flood, climate control, etc. The third one, cultural services like aesthetics, recreation, study, and rituals and their practice. The last one is auxiliary services. The auxiliary services like nutrient cycling, pollination, biological control, seed dispersal, etc. Next, we discussed about biodiversity depletion. The depletion of biodiversity means the destruction of biodiversity. The destruction of biodiversity is mainly due to the human interventions like agriculture, constructing dams, mining, exploitation of forest wealth, tourism and hunting. Large-scale destruction of ecosystems, over-exploitation of natural resources, excessive use of chemicals in agricultural fields also leads to the destruction of the biodiversity. Dodo, passenger pigeon, quagga are some extinct species. The main cause of extinction of these organisms are the loss and degradation of habitat, overexploitation, climate change, pollution. There are many organisms on the verge of extinction. They are called endangered species. IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature, is an organization for environmental protection. Under the auspices of IUCN, a list of endangered plants and animals is prepared every year. This is known as the Red Data Book. This book is helpful to identify the extent of biodiversity depletion and to plan out appropriate conservation activities. The function or the importance of the Red Data Book is it is helpful to identify the extent of biodiversity depletion and to plan out appropriate conservation activities. Then the two types of conservation methods are prevalent. They are in situ conservation and ex situ. In situ conservation, the organisms are protected in their natural habitat. In ex situ conservation, the organisms are protected outside their natural habitats. Wildlife sanctuary, national parks, community reserves, biosphere reserves, sacred groves, ecological hotspots are the examples of in situ conservation. Zoological gardens, botanical gardens and gene banks are the examples of ex situ conservation. Periyar, Pepara, Wayanad, etc. are the examples of wildlife sanctuaries in Kerala. Iravikulam, Silent Valley, Anamudi Shola, Mathikettan Shola and Pambadum Shola are the national parks. The Kadalundi Community Reserve, spread over the districts of Malappuram and Kozhikode, is an example of community reserves. Nilgiris and Agasthyarkudam are the examples of biosphere reserves. Western Ghats, Northeastern Himalayas and the Indo-Burma region are the major ecological hotspots in India. Many government and non-government organizations design and coordinate environmental protection activities. IUCN is an independent organization working for the protection of biodiversity. The second organization is WWF, Worldwide Fund for Nature. Biodiversity conservation, prevention of exploitation and pollution of natural resources are the objectives of WWF. So dear children, it is our duty to conserve and keep bioresources for future generation. If we do not act with this realization, our existence itself will be in danger. Dear children, it's time for winding up. This chapter is over. All of you study well. Thank you.